All right, we are on Lake Grapevine in Texas, y'all, with Stephen Bullard, who invited me out for the evening, for a bit of an evening sail. This is a unique edition of the Supply Chaney podcast, coming to you live from Grapevine, Texas, Lake Grapevine. We've got planes flying overhead, landing into DFW right now. We got just about a full moon over here, and we are sailing around on a Catalina 250. And Stephen Bullard, if you would take a minute, introduce yourself, I guess, to the folks.
I appreciate it, and again, welcome aboard to the Royal Dawn.
Thank you.
It's a Catalina 250, and it's a fantastic little opportunity for us to be out here and have a chance to chat. So, yeah, my name is Stephen Bullard. I have a great opportunity of meeting this gentleman and to having an opportunity to run into him frequently at a lot of different events. I started in this industry going quite a ways back. I started right out of high school in a job that's called a flight watcher.
Wait, hold up. Where was high school? Where'd you grow up? We gotta go back to, like, day zero.
Gotta go well, I can't go to day zero because I don't remember
Day one,
that.
there you go. Day one. Day 3,000, there you go.
No worries. So I grew up in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Okay.
I originally was born in Salem, Oregon, and my family migrated to Ann Arbor, and so I had an opportunity to grow up there with my sister and brother, and we had a fantastic opportunity to grow up in the shadows of the University of Michigan. So what an incredible opportunity. It's a town that everybody loves. It's really quaint and unique,
Right.
at least used to be.
I haven't been there. I got to get there someday.
Well, again, so a lot of history. My family and both my wife's family also is my wife's family actually built the U of M Stadium. So the frontier, or the front of the brick fascia of it was built by my wife's family.
Okay.
Trauma
all right.
Construction. There's so much history in our family there.
Yeah.
And my father-in-law, he actually started Cleary University and also started Washtenaw Community College.
Okay.
He was a Marine veteran. He fought in Peleliu. He fought in some of the most bloodiest environments, World War II. And just a fascinating story is that he packed up his gear, they put him on a boat, took him home, married his sweetheart, had 10 kids, went back to work. That's what they did. So he's in a bloody battles, the worst the Marine Corps has ever seen, and yet comes home and just starts his life all over again. So that's the generation that he grew up in.
Wow.
And my father, same way, and my mother's family actually came in servitude into Canada, and they're master builders. So they built a lot of the older homes that exist right now in the Canadian side of Niagara Falls. So they read a newspaper article about a city in California, Atascadero, that was being built right next to a new Army base. So they said, this is a great opportunity for us. Now we're citizens. They packed up, made their own trailers, jumped into the cars, and drove across the country to Atascadero to build that city. And so a lot of the old houses and so on were built by the Peischer family.
It was like the second gold rush, sounds like.
In a sense, yeah, but gold rush with hammers and nails.
Right, yeah, the iron rush.
Exactly. So that's how my family migrated to California. My father, the Bullard family, actually migrated across on wagons to Colorado and also to California. And the Bullard homestead still exists today, the concrete foundation in the middle of a ranch. And so we tried to buy that 2 acres, and the rancher said, oh no, we're not letting them Bullards having those prayer vigils on my property. Ain't no way we're selling that property.
Those prayer vigils.
Those prayer vigils. There's hundreds of wagons at those prayer vigils. It's like, son, you don't really remember that yourself, do you? That's from your dad.
All right.
But
well, I gotta say, of any Supply Chaney podcast guest, you have the best grasp of your entire family history, for sure.
Well, the thing is, I think that we all need to think about that as we grow up too, is that history is very, very important. It may not really reflect on who you are today, but inside of you, that humble growth, that humble situation
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the people who are highly successful. I was watching Jamie Dimon this morning on the news, talking about, you know, his family came to this country with nothing. My wife's family came from Italy, literally with nothing. And they created what we now see as this environment that we all live in.
That's meaningful, right?
It is.
Yeah, it's meaningful, yeah.
And I think it's important for all of us to realize that fact is that we all come, for the most part, from very humble beginnings. And to forget that, as you talk about where your life is going, where you're headed, is that humble beginning is something that is ingrained in us. If we forget about that, I think that's an issue for us as a country.
And when the wind forgets about you on a sailboat,
you just slow down and the podcast gets better. And the sunset gets better. I think you need to turn the boat back into that sunset.
All right, we'll tack.
I think we're going to have to tack to get that sunset behind you.
We'll tack and get the sunset.
There
all right.
you go. All right.
Chapter 2 coming
Ready.
up. Here we go. Tacking. All right. Helm's got the lee. Real nice and slow.
Oh, yeah. Nice tack. There we go.
Let that thing out a little. There we go. Okay.
Okay, we got it. And let's see about the main. We don't. Okay, let's see the main. All right, we're good.
All right. So
there you go.
Ann Arbor roots.
Yes.
And you seem to tie your wife's family and her history and their history. You know, it seems like, you know, in tandem with your own almost, that, you know, you've really taken ownership and pride in that, I think.
Yeah, I do. I think that's a great statement on your part to understand that. Is that, you know, we grew up together even though we didn't really know each other.
Uh-huh.
I mean, of course, she had 9 sisters. I mean,
You
hello,
had 10?
everybody. She was number 9,
Uh-huh.
right? So whenever they went to the pool, all the boys in the neighborhood were interested in going to the pool. So we grew up in the same space. We grew up in the same environment. And so, you know, there's a lot of connected history to that. And again, I'm a bit of a history buff. I like that. I think that's very important to understand.
Yeah.
That where you come from. And so learning about her family, going back to her father, he never talked about what he did in the military, ever. Mm-hmm. So this is a fun story, matter of fact, is that I'm up in his attic, cleaning out his attic, and I come across the case, open up the case, and there's a samurai sword in it. And I went, and it was a ceremonial samurai sword. I said, okay, Tony, where'd you get that?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you in a minute. Next to it was a Japanese carbine. Mm-hmm. And I was, okay, bud, you better step up with the stories. Tell us how this happened. And he says, yeah, he says, I was on Iwo Jima, and we're running up the hill, and I took out a Japanese captain, grabbed his samurai, figured I needed it, threw it in my pack. Mm-hmm. And then I ran out of ammo, because we constantly were running out of ammo, so I picked up the carbine, used that to go up the hill, and it just stayed with me all the way back home.
Wow.
Yeah, interesting. So, I mean, that was the moment that I learned about his history.
Yeah, yeah.
And another fun story, that he was awarded a Purple Heart. He was wounded 3 times. And he was awarded a Purple Heart, but he never received it. So when my son was going to college, there's a Purple Heart fund. So my son goes, wait a minute, we gotta capitalize on that revenue.
Yeah, yeah.
So we took all the documents we found up in the attic, we filed it with the federal government. The federal government said, yeah, we never gave it to him. So on his 100th birthday, the Commandant of the Marine Corps came to his birthday party and awarded him his Purple Heart from World War II on his 100th birthday.
Wow.
Yep, cool stuff. And my father was very much engaged with, matter of fact, the Kennedy administration, very much with the Presidential Prayer Breakfast. He was highly engaged in that, highly engaged in government at that time too. Very, very, very pointedly connected with the Kennedy administration and so on. So, from the outside, he was not in the administration, but he was an influencer.
Ah, the OG influencer.
The OG influencer.
Well, let's talk a little bit about. So, grew up in Ann Arbor then, and your wife did too. Yep. What did you think that you would be when you grew up one day? You know, what were your aspiring? I have to imagine like hockey or something, being that close to Canada.
Well, thank you for that. No, I can't stand up on skates.
Okay, all right.
So that was off the table.
I got a wrong thesis there.
There you go. Played football a little bit, but spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time an artist, a designer, a drawer. I was in architecture classes. I played football. I played track. I was a big time ski racer. So up there, it's a very interesting opportunity to ski up there because it's all man-made snow. But, you know, so I was a GS ski racer and a slalom skier.
What does GS mean?
Giant slalom.
Oh, giant, okay. Well, so, for us Texans, we don't know those kind of words.
Well, you've got downhill, which is oh shit, right?
OS, okay.
65 miles an hour to 70 miles an hour on a pair of skis. That's awesome. GS is the parallel between, it's kind of halfway between. It's very, very fast, but you're going through a lot of gates in a very short amount of time. Not like slalom, which is really just, so I have a very diverse background. Really enjoyed that. So, but to me, music, art, working with my hands, as we talked about, really enjoyed that. So I was really in the technical arts kind of side. I really enjoyed that kind of stuff. That was what I really gravitated towards.
So then, you know, as you were a teenager, like what was your first job? So what are your first jobs?
My first real job, actually, was I was painting. I'm not painting. I'm sorry. I was waxing airplanes. Okay. Which is where I got interested in aviation.
All right. I see the connection there.
Yeah. So I went out to the local airport, to the local FBO, and said, "These planes are dirty. Can I do something about that?" So I read up on what to do, and so I would come out. Remember, this is 16 years old, and I'm making $100 an airplane. And I'm not going to tell you when that was, but that was big money.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's how I started, and that's why I kind of got passionate about aviation. Was my father was really into it, but I always enjoyed it. But that's when I kind of got started into the aviation side, the aviation business. So I worked for just a bunch of odd jobs, drove a truck for the University of Michigan, you know, a bunch of miscellaneous things. But I got into this business really, as I said, and by the way, we're getting close to the time to tackle, otherwise we're going to find that dam. So,
what? That dam ain't far enough, Dana.
Yeah, we're going to keep on going. Just reminding you, Captain.
We need more of this sunset. Oh, yeah. I think we can catch the sunset and then
I think we can catch the sunset and come back. And what's really cool is a sailboat right behind us that's capturing that sunset.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So, I mean, that's how I got fascinated by aircraft. And then my father was very connected with the aviation industry out of Willow Run Airport. If anybody knows anything about that is the famous B-24 was manufactured there by Ford Motor Company. So that's where all the B-24s were manufactured in World War II. It actually became the GM transmission plant was the factory for the B-24s. Turned out more aircraft ever in history at that one facility. So I ended up getting a job doing night operations for a company called Miami Air Cargo, and my job was a flight watcher. And to give you a timeline is I sat in a little room looking onto the ramp. My job was managing DC-6s, DC-3s, and Convaires. Those are our aircraft, primarily the 6s and the 3s, running for General Motors transmission plant. My job was to sit in this little office all night long, and anytime the phone rang from GM, my job was to get the plane ready, get the crews online, make sure I had crews available, and to set it up and get the flight ready to go. I didn't do the flight line stuff, but I did all the paperwork. So, but how I did this was literally a grease board with a grease pencil, writing down the crew hours in the aircraft, writing down all the information on a grease board in the room, and I had a bank of phones, no computer. FYI. So that was my job. My job was to, when the phone rang, pick it up, talk to General Motors, get it set up, get on the phone, call the crews, call the ground operations, get all the information up on the board. And by the way, the sunset is spectacular behind you. It's absolutely off the charts.
Where's my phone? We gotta get a picture of this.
Yeah, hold on.
My phone's down in the cabin somewhere. All right, I'll have to outsource.
That was a horrible mistake.
I'll have to outsource to you. All right, we're pausing for a moment for a
spectacular,
a sunset.
Absolutely amazing sunset.
Sunset at the helm shot.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, there we go.
Let's zoom in a little bit and get those two boats in there too. Gorgeous. Anyhow, so I mean that's my induction into aviation, and just the passion became just overwhelming. So really, it was always in the back of my mind about the transportation industry. That's because nobody talked about logistics in my school. Nobody talked about logistics at the U of M. It wasn't even a thing. Time to go.
Let's get ready to attack here.
Okay, ready.
All right, and coming about, and Helm has the lead. Boom is swinging. It's not yet. There we go.
There we go.
Grab it. There we go. We're back around.
We're back around. Okay. Wow. There we go.
So the reason why I asked is because the earliest example that I have of someone with a logistics degree is a guy named Brad Forrester, and he's been on the podcast, and his degree from U of M is from 1990.
Yeah.
So
before that,
okay.
The only two schools that had a logistics program that I'm aware of was Ohio State and Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
There was one on the West Coast, but I don't remember what it was. But there was really nobody teaching that aspect or the logistics side.
Okay. I might have been, just for the record, I might be wrong on Brad Forrester, where he went, but I think it was U of M. All right. So you were at 16? You were
well, a little young, a little older than that, but not much.
Yeah. Okay. So doing very much exposed to the world of logistics.
Absolutely.
As we all think is glamorous and cool now, but back then it was work. It was a job.
It was a job. It was something that you did. It was, and again, the trucking industry was always well established. Aviation
always
business,
there.
Because if anybody knows anything about the aviation business as a whole, is that you know the names of Catalina, you know the names of Zantop, U.S. Aviation. You might know Transcontinental Airlines. You might know Miami Air Cargo. You might know these companies, but for the most part, the industry doesn't really understand those. That was the center point of the aviation industry for the automotive business. Willow Run Airport, all those companies, and trust me, they were all cowboys. They weren't from Texas, but they were all cowboys. I mean, it was running and gunning every day. It was.
And was it because obviously air cargo being the most expensive form, was that mostly because of like line down type situations and whatnot? Because probably manufacturing wasn't quite as developed at the time as it is now to be.
Excuse the podcast, but there's a spectacular picture.
Yeah, there's a good sunset. We gotta grab this shot real quick. I'm gonna have to make sure Steven practices good lens hygiene and can send me a couple of these.
Exactly.
I'm busy driving at the moment.
But you're doing a damn good job of it, by the way. As a matter of fact, for everybody out there, is his sense of sailing going back to his experiences. Talking about he used to sail out here on this lake, and this is the first time since how long? So you've been on a big
7 years ago, probably.
About 7 years ago.
Ah.
So I was commenting him on his sense of the wheel.
Yeah, or ability to drive by your butt.
Drive by your butt. That's right. Just like good pilots, you got to sense the vehicle in your backside. It's your biggest sensory organ.
Biggest muscle, maybe. No, wait, is that your heart? I don't know, or your butt? One of the two. So
I'm not gonna argue that point.
So we've got, so you grew up in an arena or an environment where you're really inspired and you were already exposed to logistics kind of early on. Yep. What happened next as you were planning to kind of leave the roost and whatnot?
So again, an interesting track is I got into the music business, and I was doing a lot of sound engineering and lighting engineering. So that kind of, back in the days when the hair was long and the music was loud, and so I kind of tracked towards that way because that was a great thing. I had a great opportunity to go hang out with some really cool people and do some really cool stuff. So I got into that space and really had a great time, and also really crafted my ability as a photographer. So I kind of drifted from logistics into the photography business, and that was, to me, my real first indoctrination into business.
Okay.
So running photography companies, looking at the financial side. I had the opportunity to shoot Miss America, Miss USA, I was
pre or during Trump era?
Pre-Trump.
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 PT. Okay.
Still big hair. Yeah. Still when we're using film. We ran a Hasselblad, which is a large format camera, and the 35 millimeters, and would shoot these big events. And again, so just incredible opportunity. Shot Indy 500, was able to shoot hydroplane races. I shot the Olympics.
Wow.
And so on. So I was a staff photographer for a lot of really cool events. So I had a really good time of being in that space also. But then shot a bazillion weddings also, which become very unfun.
I've heard this before. Yeah.
No, it's an amazing experience. You really learn. So I would say, if you ask me what taught me how to manage people and how to be in an environment and be consequential, was shooting weddings. I don't think any other training or college I ever went to taught me more than dealing with a bride and a bride's mother.
Yeah. All right, this wind is misbehaving and this sunset is too cool to miss, so we're gonna come about.
Okay.
And
we're gonna stall it for a minute here.
Helm on the lead.
Ready?
Boom, coming.
Got it.
Nice. And slow. There we go.
There we go. Perfect.
There we go.
Nice set.
I wish we would have ride that for a minute.
Nice set. Look at that. Oh, wow. I'm sorry. Wow.
Not bad.
And just so everyone knows, is around us, where we are today, what do you hear? Except for the jets. Silence. And we're in the middle of 8.9 million people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right in the middle.
The Dallas, Fort Worth, and Denton. Yeah, we are right in that middle space.
That's right.
Except for that plane. I don't know. Do you know that plane?
A321.
There you go. All right. So you took a minute to have a creative, artistic time, which thanks for sharing that, because now as a content creator myself, I have much appreciation for people that came from the real arts and the real film and cinematic side of the world. So I'll have to ask you for some notes later. But what came after this time period?
So really came down to meeting my wife of actually yesterday of 38 years.
Congrats.
We met, after knowing each other since we were kids, we met again and started dating and started really thinking this is going to be something we want to connect with. And at the time I was living in Indianapolis and she was still living in Ann Arbor. And so it said, I don't like where this is going, so I'm going to get back home. Go back to the woman I'm going to marry, get back to home, figure this thing out, kind of see what's next in life. And so literally I answered an ad in the logistics business, and that was a long time ago. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you give me a moment, I have to go turn the lights on.
Turn on those lights.
Yeah, we are now in the dusk, and we got to get the navigation lights on.
It looks like a Cat 22 rolling over here. If you're looking at me and you're watching this on video, you're seeing me holding my chest. I'm not holding my chest because I'm having heart attacks, because I'm trying to just cover the microphone here a little bit.
Hello.
We're going to just edit this part out.
No, we're still out here sailing. It's a gorgeous sunset, but we're doing a podcast right now.
Okay. All right, we got folks checking in.
Right.
Make sure Steven's safe. He didn't take out a stranger out on his boat and then got hijacked for his sailboat.
As they say every once in a while, she may actually consider that to be preferable.
Man, that's nice.
It's kind of cool when you get the lights on too.
Am I right? Are we at a Cat 20? Is that a Cat 22?
That's 22, yeah.
I guess you got that sail, you got that sea, right? That's kind of...
Yeah, Catalina.
Tells you what's going on there, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
So I literally answered an ad with a company called Conway Central Express as an inside salesperson, which got me back home. And that's history. So I've been in the industry ever since. But I think what's interesting about the freight business or the logistics business and why it's so enticing and interesting is if you are a creative person like we've talked about, if you're somebody who likes to know a lot of things and be engaged in a lot of stuff, there's no better industry. I mean, for the events that we've connected and we've been to, the people that you learn, the things that you understand. So if you're a learned person, this is the coolest job ever. Because when you go to a cocktail party with us, is we can talk about so many different things. We know so much different stuff. We know what's going on. And when I teach people in this industry, I focus in on one thing that's really important. Is I said, you know what? If you're going to be good at this job, the news becomes very important. And you need to be attuned to what is happening on a regular basis. And I think that if you looked at our LinkedIn page, mine and yours, it's very topical. Why? Because we're sharing with people saying, you should know this. And it's amazing how many people don't understand that international side or the domestic side or change. It's like the C.H. Robinson lawsuit that's going on right now about the accidents. That's going to dynamically change truckload brokerage. Dynamically. Because now, in court right now there's a very good chances that truckload brokers and companies who outsource the trucking are going to be held responsible for liability for that vehicle and for what happens to that vehicle. They've been divorced of that for years. Not anymore. That's going to change.
Right.
And I think it's time for us to come about, sir.
All right.
Time for us to go start heading the other direction. Are you ready? I'm ready.
All right, let's come about. All right, tacking.
Okay.
All right, helm's got the lead, and boom, through across.
Well, I think that was the best one we've had today.
That wasn't bad. We got it on video. That's not bad.
Yeah. And again, the most spectacular sunset ever.
Not a bad one. All right, so you took that first job, which kind of set your whole career on a trajectory.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of what happened after that? What made you transition out of that first stop on the career path?
Took a position in inside sales, and what was interesting is that, so imagine if you know our industry, inside sales, of course, is the one that's prospecting. So at that time, I was able to land General Motors from an inside sales position for the company. So
wow.
I'm now managing a multi-million-dollar contract as an inside sales rep. Needless to say is the big kahunas were going is, who is this guy and what is he doing? So needless to say is that's how you get jump up. You jump the scale pretty quick, and next thing you know. So I ended up.
But I'm just gonna call you here for a second. But did that have anything to do with the fact that you were that young person looking after the flights that saved that one person's butt at General Motors and called in a favor, hey, can you connect me with someone later? You know, it's all about who owes you a favor kind of thing. I don't know. Is there something going on there?
In 2001, and so I'm jumping around a bit, but in 2001 I was actually the guide for a Chinese delegation that came to the U.S. who's actually touring manufacturing companies, General Motors, and some of the subsidiaries. And this was the top people in all the provinces of China. And so I was their tour guide, the bus driver, the cool bus driver.
Okay.
And one of the most senior officials did two things. He taught me number one is, when he invited us to sit down and he was serving us. And in that culture, that means that's a very high level of respect. And and again, myself and my partner, we were just the guys out there really helping them to navigate it. The second thing he taught me was guanxi. Couldn't speak a word of English, but guanxi was the word he used. Okay. And I may be mispronouncing it, but the word is untranslatable in the US, but it means in general is the art of relationship. And they hold that to high value, is that relationship. So I wanted to put that out there because I think that's the key thing that makes people successful, and what you makes you successful is that art of relationship.
Yeah, makes a difference.
It does, and I think so. For me, that's where my career continued to escalate and go from there. So I advanced the company, continued to grow, had an opportunity to jump over to another freight forwarder, another LTL company. And same thing, jumped the rails and became the regional manager and ran their largest terminal in the Detroit area. So 165 doors, 65 Teamster employees, 5 salespeople.
At about what age?
Fairly young.
Fairly young.
Believe, time doesn't matter. It's skill and ability.
Sure, yeah.
So,
but at a young age, it sounds like,
yeah.
you had quite a bit of a responsibility there.
So it's simply, but it goes back to my experience with the Teamsters. It was very interesting. I got in trouble multiple times with the Teamster Union for exalting people when you're not supposed to. Everyone's supposed to be level playing field. But again, in that space, I learned how to navigate that. Also, is how do you exalt people so the rest of the organization looks at it as a positive, not a negative, right? So you can't exalt a person in operations and hold them and give them plaques and awards, right? Even though they may be excelling, because the person sitting next to them may not be excelling, but that connectivity, right? They're close to each other. How do you get this person to elevate this person, right?
How do you do that?
Well, frankly, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
And you really have to understand people about what motivates them. And I think a lot of managers look at their staff and their people in their eyes, in their sense. They don't look at them in their space. And that's a hard thing to learn how to do. Is when I coach people, particularly on the sales side, is routinely companies will take their best salesperson and promote them to the vice president and promote them up the chain. But they're the best salesperson because they are a hunter killer, right? So you put them in a leadership role, is now they're hunting against their own people. Mm-hmm. It's a difficult situation because now they're gauging. Now their own people, they're not motivating their own people. They're interested in their own success. So you have to find. I tend to call it is the Tom Brady effect. So Tom Brady came to the combines and he was fat, he was slow, he wasn't very good. And I remember him very well from the University of Michigan. I didn't know him, but mm-hmm. I knew of him. And one of the things about him was he was a student of the game. He wasn't always starting, but you always saw him on the sidelines. He was the guy with the clipboard. He was the guy calling in the plays. He was the guy in the locker room. He was always the person that motivated the rest of the team. So look at what his success was, because he wasn't the best. He was the best at making everyone else better. And I think that's something that we all need to learn from a management standpoint is that we've got to understand that we can't gauge people on our expectations. We have to gauge people on their ability and bring them forward, not on what our expectations are.
Oh, I gotta sit with that for a second. There's I feel like we've started talking about sales and sales development here for a second here.
It's what I do.
And
we're gonna start tacking back we're gonna start tacking back that way.
You wanna go into the wind?
Yeah, we want to start tacking back to the marina.
What?
For a little bit. Soon. Once we start seeing satellites, then we'll tack in. Hey, the best time out here on Lake Grapevine is right now, because all the boats go in and it's all yours.
Yeah. All right, what was it that you said that? So we just run with the wind?
We're coming up. We're coming into the doldrums. Time to make another tack.
All right.
And by the way, everybody out there on this podcast, one thing you're going to learn real quickly, that's the one thing about sailing is it's constantly adjusting to the environment.
It's the ultimate logistics person's sport, I think.
Exactly.
Well, that and cycling. I think cycling is a pretty good one too.
I think that's a really good analogy. But yeah, I mean, it really is. This is the culmination of business is right here. Is constantly having to adjust to the winds, adjust to the environment.
Do we want to like race back and where we got two sails catching, or
no? Yeah, we can do that. If you want to.
No, we don't need to race. We got all night. All right, here we go. We're coming about.
Okay, ready.
We're gonna go downwind a little bit here, I guess.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and let that out. Let the main out.
You're gonna loosen the main, or?
I think we're gonna go ahead and tack over here this way. There we go. Yeah.
We'll just like take the scenic route. I don't know.
Okay. Well, remember,
we want to go tack. We'll tack back.
Yeah, we'll tack back. That's what
okay. All right, that works. There's but when you're going downwind, there's another word for tack.
Yeah.
It's jibe.
Jibing.
There we go. We'll jibe back. There we go.
Yeah. So right now, the wind's behind us a bit.
I need to point it a little more. Coming around a little more.
Okay, here we go. Woo! Woo. I love when the portals go right across our bow.
Surf boat just came by. All right. So you're one of those, from our discussion here so far, it sounds like you're kind of one of those sales folks who has learned the art of selling, but you came from sitting there being a plane watcher.
Operations background.
So you got the operations piece. And so probably, if you want to say the most dangerous salesperson is someone who can like speak operations speak. And so, kind of continue the story on from where you were at, where you were inside sales, landed kind of like the biggest.
Worked all the way up there. Yeah.
Landed GM, moved around. Yeah, what happened next?
So the company I worked for, abruptly went out of business back in the times when trucking companies were starting to fail on a regular basis, which we're not seeing that again now.
What? That's not happening now either.
No. But back then it was happening then too.
Yeah.
And so the company abruptly went out of business. Went in 4.5 hours, went from 7 to 11. Gone. In other words, in restructuring, 2 hours later, history. So that was a very tough opportunity, tough time.
That's a story I feel like a lot of folks today could probably identify with.
Yeah. It's a difficult reality check. But, people ask me one of the most pivotal times in my career. It goes way back. It goes off the resume right now, but it really is that what happened when that took place is all of my drivers, their paychecks bounced. So they weren't going to get paid, and they're all Teamsters, so they didn't have to do anything. And when A&R went out of business, which was a trucking company, it took them 4 years to find all our equipment. Those drivers just pulled off the side of the road or went home and walked away. So all that freight and all those trucks just disappeared. So one of the things I really talk about and I was really poignant in my career is that I got on the radio to the union representative and I said, we have to talk. And I want you to get all you guys on the radio and talk. There's something really important I need to talk to you about. And what I said to him was, guys, your paychecks all bounced. The company's out of business, but I want you to remember something and think about something. All the people you've been delivering to are people that you know, and at some point, and you will be with another trucking company, is you built a relationship with them, respect that relationship. So I'm going to ask you to do one thing for me. I want you to empty your truck and not pick anything up and come back empty.
Man, damn.
And even the most poignant against the company came back with an empty truck. And so that was a big deal. So when they got back, I had beer and pizza for everyone, and I bought it out of my own pocket because I was paying the bill now.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that I actually, this was not the nicest part of Detroit. I stayed in that terminal because I knew that once I left that terminal, it became the property of the bank. So all that freight on that dock was my customers. So I literally picked up the phone and called each one of them. I said, you've got 48 hours to get everything off my dock.
Wow.
I can't deliver it for you. You figure it out.
Yeah.
Get here, and I will be here to load that truck.
Man.
So, yeah, so remember, it was, 165 door terminals. It was huge. It was full of freight. So literally everyone came. So to me, it really set my career as a leader in motion.
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that start for me that really said, I can be a leader. I can lead people.
Yeah.
Because it was really, so the end of the story is that there was one Schwinn bicycle left on the dock after everything was gone. Right? So I went to my office, took my calculator, that Schwinn bicycle, right? A couple of things from the office, so a couple of things that were important to me in the office, put them in my car and left.
Yeah.
And I still have that, all my kids rode that Schwinn bicycle, right?
Wow.
And I still have that calculator today.
Wow.
I use it every day.
This is, I really love talking to and interviewing, under 30 founders, under 40 founders, all this sort of stuff. Like people that are building something new, that are, kind of in my cohort of entrepreneurs today. But there's something different and special when I can talk to folks that have stories to share from times before I was around, before that I'm aware of,
right.
and maybe a lot of listeners of podcasts these days are aware of, and just to, man, it's that that cliche of they don't make them like they used to kind of thing, and I don't want to give you a big head right now, but no. They don't make them like they used to. I think the leaders these days, but I think that the cool thing about the world right now is that we can try to capture those stories, those sound bites, and pass them on, share them on, try to educate the leaders of tomorrow to have that servant leadership and that lead from the front mentality. Whew, all right, we're not tacking. What happened next? What happened next? Yeah.
Well, so that brings more to current. So there's a lot of different other transition points and so on, but obviously we're here in Texas. So what happened to me and how I got to Texas was I got into a contract with this particular company, a fantastic gentleman, Mike Gamble, just a great individual leader, great guy, brought me to Texas to launch a bonded trucking service that goes from Texas and California to all the interior of Mexico. So it's no stopping at the border, crosses right over, in bond, goes airport to airport service on the surface transportation.
What was the name?
Mexpress.
Yep, there you go. I was about to say, that sounds like Mexpress. Okay, Go ahead.
So I launched Mexpress in Texas.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Whew, okay, yeah, I know Mike, yep.
Yeah, great guy, amazing person.
Yeah.
So fun story about that is when we launched the service, he has no trailers that are logoed with Mexpress. But we were having the open house and the media was going to be there, it was going to be a big deal, right? So I really went down, I went to a printing place and I had Mexpress logos printed, and I brought 2 trailers down, Flexus Chihuahuas trailers, right? And I stuck the Mexpress logo over the top of them, Flexus Chihuahua trailers for the photos.
Yeah.
So we don't know where those trailers are, but the photo shoot was awesome.
Yeah.
And I made I had toy trucks and all the rest of the stuff done for him. So I was very pivotal for Mike. And, so it was just an incredible opportunity, and it got me to Texas, got me seeing Texas. So brought my family down to Texas, and they kind of went, why are we in the snow now? What are we doing? So my very young family at the time said, I think we want to move to Texas, Dad. So that opportunity introduced us to Texas. And then a company called Pilot, matter of fact, a franchise office for Pilot, offered me the opportunity to come down here and actually run their facility here. So that what drew us down to Texas and kept us here. There's a few stops on the way there, but I think that's what would interest your audience, is that's how I got into this space. Was I ran the terminal for a pilot, their franchise office. Went from there, very similar situation, went to Mach 1. And so that was a very dynamic company.
Yeah, yeah.
Went through some interesting times with them. But bring us up to current is as we were getting closer and closer to shore.
Well, we're still like 300 yards out.
Yeah, we're good. Whatever, Captain.
We'll turn that 200 yards.
Whatever, Captain. I'm going to get a light on you right now, so we're really getting down. And by the way, if we can show you, is the stars are out.
What I'm probably going to do is hit pause on this particular clip, start another one under low light, so it can catch us a little bit better.
So so why don't I take over the helm?
Okay.
And why don't you go ahead and do that?
Okay.
And we'll figure out how we're going to get ourselves at least heading back towards the marina.
What should we tack now, or do you want to tack?
That?
Yeah, we should tack now because you're the better tacker. Or we could jibe, or let's tack. Do you want to come all the way around?
Let's go ahead straight into the sun.
Yeah.
Straight into the setting sun.
There we go.
Okay.
All right. This is jibing, I believe,
yep.
Or is this tacking?
This is jibing. Yep. And we're
going into the sun. There we go. Oh, bring it on around.
Looks like we got enough air.
Hold it.
Yeah.
We still got it.
Oh no, it looks like we got some air.
Yeah.
Let's stay on this one. There we go.
That'll work. Talked through Pilot, and we've talked to Mexpress, and we've talked through a few things. Like, what's next? Continue the story.
So, an opportunity presented itself with FedEx Trade Networks at the time.
Okay.
And it was just an interesting experience. We were going through some tough times with finances and stuff like that because of certain things that went on with Mach 1 and so on. So we were really having a tough go. I mean, this was, if you think about it, this was when the mortgage crisis was there, right? When Countrywide went out of business, all those different things.
2007, 2008.
Yeah.
That's when I was graduating college.
Yeah.
Great time to be coming out into the job market. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Again, everything fell completely apart.
Yeah.
And we were in an interesting situation is that we, compared to everyone else out there, had a huge equity in our house that we bought in Flower Mound because we put a lot of money down on it. So the banks went, ooh, and immediately foreclosed on us.
Wow.
Yeah. So just a really, really tough time. So the opportunity presented itself just by happenstance, divine providence. They said, hey, here's an opportunity to go underneath the flag of FedEx and to build something brand new.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
A startup underneath a big company.
A startup underneath a monolith, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's really awesome. So I literally just said, okay, this is an opportunity of a lifetime.
Sure.
So I was the 7th employee for FedEx Logistics in Texas.
Okay.
And jumped in and so very green, very new, very dynamic. And quickly started making a name for myself, and we started building out the team, started hiring staff and so on and growing it out. And so we're just monumentally successful in growing the business. But it was interesting, the relationship is FedEx Corporate we were over here, they were over here. So it wasn't like we got all this gifts from the mothership.
Uh-huh.
We had to do it all on our own. we had a really cool logo.
You had cool parents, but they're like, you're doing this on your own. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like a very good analogy right there. Yeah. You had the really cool parents with all the money. Yeah. But they weren't giving you any, and you better figure it out for yourself. So that was an amazing experience. That was the last 13 years of my career, is I worked with them in developing this marketplace. I feel same thing. Somebody said to me I'm a very good servant leader. My team had significant goals and grew, and we had, in that 12 years, we had 5 presidents clubs, ambassadors clubs, and for us there's only 2 that were given out. So that says something, that the team, particularly in a field sales situation, was that successful. So I was very proud of that that the team had done so well, and felt very proud of the fact is that a lot of the people that worked for me, wherever they ended up, all continually say is, hey, you were influential in where I'm gone, and where I am right now. Whether it was a good experience or bad one. In other words, the door's over there, and that's where you're going.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stay. I'm going to do what I can to make sure that is a good experience.
Sure.
So I mean, that was the opportunity. FedEx went through a lot of transitions, as everyone knows. Did a lot of adjustments. They're doing a big adjustment right now with spinning off FedEx Freight. Their freight forwarding division really was downsized a lot. Now it's bringing it all back in. So they're hiring new people and kind of reconstituting that FedEx Logistics brand, which is great. So for me, I got caught up in that process. But, and by the way, just to let you know, there's fireworks right over there.
Oh, there's fireworks. Where do those come from?
That would be South Lake-ish.
No.
Yeah.
That feels wrong. That's Flower Mound.
No.
Or
Flower
Argyle.
Mound's here.
Flower Mound, Argyle. South Lake is opposite.
Oh, you're right.
You.
This can be over there. Yeah, look at that.
Somebody's shooting off fireworks on the whatever today is of May something.
Okay. Well, you're actually tacking correctly because there's our marina right there, those lights.
All right, I got you. Okay.
So
we'll tack and roll into there.
So, I mean, so they were extremely generous, did a wonderful thing, gave me some time to break. But during COVID, I had the opportunity to be on the charter team. So when charters took place or outside of the FedEx asset-based environment, that I was engaged in that process. And that's where, and from a client base, that's where I learned about National. And National, I transitioned over to National after that for last year. And again, fantastic company. Wherever I end up next for me is going to be very much focused in. They will be a vendor that I will rely on.
So I'm curious about, in the macro version of your world, in your years in the logistics and supply chain industry, you went from the time before websites and online portals and EDI and APIs and you've gone now to the point of AI and everything being interconnected and everyone being able to know what's going on at any point at any time if they're smart enough to connect all the nodes to be able to have that. I'm curious, like, your perspective on the role of technology in supply chain management, and you've been able to see this from when there was no technology to where we are today.
Yes.
And today we're sailing a sailboat, maybe the most OG technology ever.
Yeah.
Thoughts on technology enablement and what it allows a company to do and how they could totally miss the boat, pun intended, on leveraging technology to improve their technology. I don't know, just thoughts. I'm gonna tee it up for you. You hit it, left, right, center, down the fairway, wherever you want.
I am personally exhilarated about what the future looks like. I think it's phenomenal. I am embracing all the tools and resources that are coming available right now because I think it's the future that's coming forward. So to me, I find it fascinating about people I talk to who are not embracing it, who are trying to work around it or work away from it, or you've got to embrace it right now. But we were at a meeting over dinner with people who are very much engaged in the AI development for the transportation industry. And one of the things I think that the big takeaway from there was, and one of the things I felt focused to say so, is it's not the responsibility of the consumer to control the implementation of AI. I think the AI founders have to take control of that because what's happening is you're seeing the C-level of companies who are just diving into AI. And they're reducing staffing. I've already seen this before. I saw this with UPS, DHL, FedEx, when they did the standardization process, on how that utterly fails. Is AI is a tool.
Yeah.
But there's some responsibility to AI developers to roll it out in a very specific means. So the companies don't just dive in and make mistakes. We need to give them the opportunity to build into it. So I think there's some responsibility from the AI developers to be responsible about how quickly they input information or how quickly they implement that. Again, I'll go back to Jamie Dimon, again, on News Today, was talking about that too, is how Chase is doing exactly that. They're taking AI into its required spaces, and they're using it to capitalize on areas where it easily can draw data, draw conclusions, draw processes, but they're focusing in on the people side. We talked about that at dinner also. With the dinner he and I both went to, is they talked about that same thing, is that people integrated AI is the vision.
Okay, all right, so to do a gentle pushback on you.
No worries,
yeah,
that's what we're here for.
I was in debate club in high school, so get ready for this one.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, so the thing is, you've got let's call it four really smart people companies out in the world that created AI. And if I put myself in your
Time
shoes,
to go that way.
From,
by the way, keep talking, but we can do this while we're talking.
From the time that, and we are coming about, we're gonna jibe into the sun. So, or no, we're jibing into the wind. All right, the boom is coming around. Anyone who's listening to this in audio only, you can hear the waves, maybe. But maybe the sound takes the waves out of there. But
good, perfect, just stay right there.
There we go. We're pointed home right now.
We're pointed home.
Pointed home. Is that the guys who started the internet, or girls, the guys and girls who started EDI, all of the transformational technologies that changed how commerce is done, that changed how supply chains run, changed how logistics operates. Those people, I mean, obviously I was a little bit younger and earlier in my years here, but I don't recall any of them having any sort of responsibility to the supply chain operators in the world to say, here's the guardrails of how to use this technology responsibly or not. They just said, here's the tool,
figure it out.
That's it. And I don't know, if I'm getting like copy and paste from these transformational perspectives and milestones in technology in the history, no one else had any responsibility to any one siloed vertical industry to say, hey, here's the guardrails, here's how you do or don't do it. This is a hammer. However you want to use it, you go use it. I don't have the ability to tell you how to use it. You've got to do this for yourself. And maybe it's the government. Maybe it's private private government in partnerships or whatever. But for the very small few, like let's call it 3 or 4 companies in the whole world to say this is how every industry in the world should be regulated on how they use this technology. I tend to take their side of saying, like, we can't get down into the weeds with you all on how to do this. Y'all kind of got to come up with your own regulatory process. You got to figure out how you're going to harness this technology yourself. I'm going to leave you with that. What are your thoughts?
No, it's not that I disagree with you. I don't.
Okay.
But I've seen all that.
Okay.
This is transformative. This is...
Because you've seen probably transformative things happen.
This is the next level.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Because this is the ability to infiltrate and to impact literally everything except sailing.
Except Santa.
Except
Oh,
Santa.
come on, Steven. Okay, all right. I think. Oh, actually, I've got a podcast with someone from Maersk.
Okay.
They did.
I'm talking about this kind of sailing, not that kind of
AI
sailing.
did infiltrate Maersk. Just so you know, Leah talked about it on episode. I forgot what number it was. But yes. Okay, go ahead.
Well, but the way it's going to be able to manage information and data and so on and sort it. But again, I'm going to go to what the Pope was saying. And if you listen to his...
Okay, all right. You can get all... Okay.
No, I'm just going to... look at him as an informed person about humanity.
Sure. Oh, yeah,
okay?
yeah.
How's that? There you go.
I gotcha.
He also warned of that same thing too, is to lose what makes us unique. Remember, I mean, human beings, there's not a single one of us who shares exactly the same chromosome. Think about how many millions of people are out there, right?
Millions?
Billions. There's billions of people out there.
That's right.
I said
yeah.
Billions.
Yeah.
The billions of people out there, not a single individual is the same. Think about that.
We're all a bunch of snowflakes.
We're all a bunch of snowflakes. So he was just warning about the fact is that individualism and about our ability to cognitively think about processes and do things, and the emotional side, and all these things that we bring to that conversation is we have to be careful not to let technology rule that space. Look, I believe that Hollywood has shown us the way. You can go back to 1976 to 2001, The Space Odyssey.
Okay. Okay.
Remember, this is before personal computers existed.
All right. All right.
And how, because he was given misinformation by a programmer, killed the whole crew on his ship because of just a programming error. So think about it. And now remember Star Trek, Star Wars, all those existed just when the personal computer became a something. They were designing these things even before computers even really existed in the personal space. The big computers are out there, right?
Yeah.
So you're getting a message going all the way back to them about what potentially could happen now where we are today in particular. This is transformative.
Yeah, it's an Orwell type of thing.
It absolutely is. But it is the greatest human invention ever. And the only thing I was saying is the difference between the computer, between different operating systems and development of those things is that did not go this far into that space. And I'm just reflecting on, I think that there's a responsibility, but there's also, interesting enough, is there's profit to be built in this too. Is if they really think through the process and execute it in a measurable process. Firstly, they're going to make more money. But on the other side is the human interest and the human element will not be lost because we as humans can control it a little bit. We can institute it. I mean, I jokingly talk about iRobot.
Mm-hmm.
I think Will Smith told us the world in multiple different ways. He told us about COVID, right? He did. He told us
the prophet Will Smith.
The prophet Will Smith. I don't think it was him, but as the actor, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The I Am Legend. I mean, what was I Am Legend? Did anybody realize the premise of I Am Legend?
Educate me.
Okay. The premise of I Am Legend. You gotta watch the first 10 minutes.
I might go home after this and watch it. Okay.
They found a cure for cancer.
Okay.
And everybody had to go get a shot. Everybody got the shot. And it caused their bodies to react negatively to the sun. And so that's why they had to stay inside. And they became zombies because their body temperature went so high they could not be in the sun. And so you think about, and again, you may have to take this off the podcast, but what was the one thing that they missed about COVID? There's lots of them, but there's one particular one.
Well, that means I'm going to get this wrong because I'm not that smart. But
it diminished your vitamin D in your body significantly.
Yeah, you went over my head with that one. Okay.
So it significantly reduced the vitamin D and a body's ability to process vitamin D. So what would have been the number one best thing for you to do?
Go outside. Sure, okay.
Which is why the demographic of people who worked outside in construction had the lowest level of serious COVID anywhere.
Okay. Well.
So that's what I'm jokingly say. So you might take this thing about the Will Smith side. But
no, this is legit. This is good.
Yeah. So I'm just saying is that Hollywood, I think, is ahead of the curve, and we need to pay attention to what they told us in the sense of iRobot, all kidding aside, was a overreaching computer system that managed onto 3 rules, and all of them was to protect human beings.
Right.
But the computer said, wait a minute, is the best way for me to protect human beings from the 3 rules is to control them.
Yeah. From themselves.
I'm protecting them from themselves.
Protect them from themselves, yeah.
There's been many movies about that.
Sure.
And we have now jumped into that threshold.
I feel like that's a really good way to end this particular episode here.
Yes.
The Supply Chain Podcast. I'm not
controversial at all.
No, I don't think you're not. But I'm bi. We have a perspective. We have the supply chain, the logistics, the root word of logistics being logic.
Logic.
Sorry, but there's a logical concept behind all of this, and as much as we may sometimes forget about the past, I think it's important that we as much as often refer back to it so that we don't keep repeating those mistakes that we've made in the past.
Well said.
And I think, that's one of the things that I try to do on this sort of forum here is say, what are the things you've done? What are the things you've seen? What are the things you've learned? Let's keep that and memorialize it in a way that continues on into time. Through the Supply Chain Podcast, however long this thing exists, and make sure that the future logisticians of the world have an opportunity to take those and digest them, internalize them, and learn from them. And what happens next, it's a little bit in the hands of the next generation.
Yes.
For some of us, we're getting to the point where we are not going to be at the helm of what happens 10 or 20 or 30 years from now.
No.
But we can try to pass down those stories and those learnings, just like the Egyptians and the Romans and whatnot did in stone tablets and papyrus and stuff in the past.
Yes, they did. And we're still learning from them also.
Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about those after this podcast. But Stephen, thanks for... I can't exactly say coming on to the podcast and joining me because you invited me on your boat to have a sunset sail. But thanks for inviting me on. And
My pleasure.
I enjoyed the conversation.
This is, and again, I really appreciate what you do too. We've had about a year's relationship right now, and we've run into each other in many different spaces. But I enjoy your podcast very much because I think it's very poignant and very focused. And you bring attention to things that I believe are very important, and communicating is key to our future. And you allow that to happen in that learning space, because you're right, is the skill sets that are learned from the past, bringing them forward and training them into the current environment is vitally important. And like you just asked me is that I'm taking that experience from the past and taking it to the new space that exists. I'm exhilarated about that. I really am. I think that we are in a transformative space, and I'm just really excited that you are leading it by having this opportunity to talk to you.
All right. Signing off, Captain's Log for now. We'll catch you later.